Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16, Episode 6, titled Welcome to the Dollhouse. Previously on Drag Race, the queens competed in a girl groups challenge that happened and showed us their pussycat wigs, which saw a group thick and stick, Maya, Megami, Geneva, and Nymphia taking a win, and a mandatory and Q lip-synced to a terrible Icona-pop song, leading to Ru deciding that the mandatory meeting could have just been an email. Before I dive in, if you want to watch previous recaps, I put a link in the subject of the video. Also, if you like the video, consider subscribing. So let's dive into it. Q tells the queens she was surprised to be in the bottom.
You won't see me here again.
And they unpack the foursome winning the challenge. They bring back up that Tsunami and Q had a Tifiana in Untucked about Q saying two names. Tsunami says she's gonna take it as constructive criticism.
Cause I'm a smart bitch.
Plain Jane proclaims that after speaking with Saphira, she's turning over a new leaf, to massive eye rolls from Dawn and disbelief from the other girls.
And I don't believe that for a second, bitch.
The next day, Maya is feeling confident.
I'm ready for these bitches to start leaving so I can get closer to my crown.
Ru enters in Valentine's colors, joined by Charo, who has truly been frozen in time for decades.
I got bumps all over my goose.
They'll be competing in a flamenco dance contest brought to us by the Tourism Board of Spain and the pit crew Alfredo and Tiago, their flamenco dance partners. They need to get into quick flamenco drag. Let's get into some of this dancing. It's not often I get to critique dancing on my channel, so let me put on my Carry-On Inaba hat. I guess I'll talk about the highlights and the lowlights. Geneva's got the moves and a clear understanding of what she's trying to accomplish. Dawn is all thumbs, getting thrown around by her partner like a broom.
I love to flamenco dance.
Is that sarcasm?
Yeah, girl, it's sarcasm.
Morphine gives a very serious dance that is one long twirl. Charo loves it. Saphira dances like a grandma at church bingo. Plain Jane does this ugly girl with a mustache and unibrow shtick, and this was problematic for me. I feel like this challenge was honoring the Spain Travel Board. I personally wouldn't want to offend the Spain Travel Board. Tsunami takes it seriously and is rizzing it up with her dancer. As she does, Plasma slips and almost tears the dancer down with her, which the show makes a meal out of. Then Ru and Charo dance, and Ru lets Charo pick the winner. She picks Tsunami, who wins a trip to Spain, and they all coochie-coo to send Charo out. Ru then tells them their maxi challenge is to make identical looks for them and their own doll version of themselves, so they get materials and their little dolls. Since this is a design challenge, they can use fabric as they please. Dawn is drawn to the purple, Geneva wants red, but Plain wants that as well. Geneva ends up getting the red, and Q goes for these beige tones. Nymphia takes all the yellow. Plasma over-explains her outfit.
A little traveling outfit in the 1950s. Like if Plasma got on an ocean liner. The beginning scene of Gentlemen Prefer Blonde. They're all like in their headscarves and their hats. They're to go across the sea and gamble.
But she's really just copying the photo of Ru on the wall.
That is a recipe of no-taste disaster.
Plain begins her shady tour of the workroom, starting a war of words with Geneva in an effort to get Geneva to give her her fabric.
You making another cute little bodysuit? Oh, a gown.
Yes.
That's so ambitious for somebody who doesn't know how to sew.
Jane catches Plasma as she's frustrated with her sewing machine and asks for some fabric, which Plasma agrees to, but Jane feels like she may have successfully taken advantage of Plasma being distracted. Maya struggles with not knowing how to sew, and Saphira takes time to help her out. Nymphia complains she doesn't know what she's doing and she's stressed, and the other girls are over her saying she sucks and then crushing the challenges. Nymphia approaches Q, who's onto her and doesn't want Nymphia to see what she's making. The queens fiddle with their dolls, and Nymphia perfectly mocks her doll. Saphira tells Dawn that she plans to make a dress and a coat to go over it, but she isn't sure if she has enough time to get it all done. Geneva is struggling with her dress.
She doesn't know what the she's doing, and I don't know how the to help.
So Geneva decides to start over in the same color blue as Plasma and Plain. In the workroom, the girls talk about their connection with dolls, and Plasma shares that she went as Dorothy for Halloween as a child, which doesn't really have to do with dolls, but was a cute story. Jane shares that her dad took her dolls away and replaced them with fire trucks. She shares her experience being raised by Russian parents and says she gets a lot of her critical nature from her family and upbringing. They discuss the immunity potions. Plain feels like Saphira should use her immunity. Plain's makeup here also reminds me of Texas Longhorns. Saphira isn't worried because she's still gassed up by Isaac Mizrahi loving her look. Q asks Megami about being
Nuyorican? That's what we call like Puerto Ricans from New York.
And Q shares that she grew up not having money and not being able to afford food. Jane again proclaims that she's no longer mean and has turned over a new leaf. The girls don't want to hear it. On the main stage, Ru is wearing a very fluid short dress. I love the fabric, but once again, the dress is way too short to really enjoy the design of the dress. I wish there was less on top and more on the bottom. Michelle is looking fabulous as ever. Her makeup is really great here. We also have god tier guest judges and T.S. Madison and Law Roach, who both look great, and Law is someone I've been dying to see on this show in any capacity. I think she should be offered a permanent spot on the panel. Carson's spot, to be exact. On the runway, their category is Welcome to the Dollhouse. Let's talk about these looks and the dolls. Tsunami's is the Fashion Week edition. For the look, I don't really like the bow around the neck. It's clunky to me. The only thing I really like about this is the pants, but I do like that she did a good job matching her look to the dolls, even if the look is questionable. Next is Sapphira, and this dress is way too simple, and clearly she didn't have enough time to make a coat or anything to put over it. This doll is a mess. Why does it have Princess Disaster's hair? There should also have been a way to make a smaller version of the pattern she's wearing instead of using the same fabric and having this doll wearing giant flowers. Also, in her voiceover, she alludes to the coat that she didn't have time to make. That was a weird choice. You could have used that time to talk about anything else. For Plasma, I don't think this look is awful, but it's pretty basic, and the scarf on her head is just a piece of fabric that keeps falling off. The doll looks better than her and actually looks kind of nice. Jane's look is incredible. I can't believe she made this herself. She also perfectly recreated the look on the doll, stoning the doll's dress to match hers, and did the doll's hair. Nymphia's look structurally is amazing. I love the shape of the giant bow, but I don't really like that the bow is pink. I don't like pink and yellow together, and didn't like when Rue wore it a few weeks ago. Those colors remind me of lemonades in a vending machine. Maybe the fabric is just catching the light and turning pink because the doll's bow is yellow, but the bow for me was a fail for that reason. The doll looks great though. The hair of the doll looks kind of orange to me. Morphine looks great. The dress looks nice and looks great on her, but she blacks out a tooth. And why? That was a terrible choice. The doll is a hungover mess. The dress doesn't match enough as it should have a big chest cutout, and the hair on this doll is insane. Maya comes out and says,
She is shy, outgoing.
Shy, outgoing, go off, terrible writing. The doll looks okay, but she should have cut a hole in the front of the dress and put 2 milk duds in there to give her the same breastplate. Also, the wig needed just a few brushes of yellow eyeshadow to match her wig. Can we talk about how Megami ate this challenge? She made a blue sequin bodysuit for her and the doll, neither of which looked easy to make, and she made matching headpieces and did the eye makeup to match as well. That is attention to detail. For Geneva, the look is terrible, but from the neck up, she looks great. Everything else on this is a mess, and her voiceover is cringe. The doll looks better than her, but the doll has depressing body language. Dawn is the Galactic Empress edition. I love the blue and silver combo, and it's well made. She looks great. It was smart to do this headpiece because then you don't have the impossible task of making your hair match the doll, and it saves you a wig you can use at another time in the game. She also did a really good job with the doll's dress and makeup. Next is Q, who saw Nymphia use wire hangers in her tie look and said, okay, bet. So she made a gorgeous copper look and headdress that are so well made. I actually think this could have done without the wire butterfly wings attached. I don't think the wings were very successful. Even on the doll look, the doll has these bent ass butterfly wings. So I feel like both looks could have had the wires taken off. The doll's makeup was so good. Before the critiques, Rue asks Sapphira if she wants to use her immunity.
Yup.
So she saves herself and then tells us she regrets it and that the judges are apparently gobsmacked. Then she implies that she used her immunity for no reason. I actually would have put her in the bottom 2 this week, and the song this week wasn't really suited for her, so she needs to just drink that potion and go to Untucked. Plain decides not to use her potion. The tops are Jane, Dawn, and Q, and the bottoms are Plasma, Maya, and Geneva. The judges like how Plasma's makeup is progressing and like how she styled the doll, but Law says she needed a bobby pin for her scarf. They love Jane's look, and TS says the doll has a
Robust wop.
The judges don't like how Maya and her doll don't match, and they ask Maya if she had help, and she drastically downplays it. Law says her breastplate looks sweaty and it's turning her on. They don't like how Geneva doesn't match her doll. Law eats her up.
From the neck up, beauty queen. From the neck down, horror queen. And your waist is not flattering. And those thick ankle straps, terrible. You have Danny DeVito's legs.
Law, again, is a judge who actually knows something about fashion and loves Dawn's look and says it's referential of high fashion. They think Q's look is couture and love how she chose unique fabrics.
She really just took a on these other girls.
So they announced Q as the winner, which she deserved, and I'm happy they gave this queen a win instead of continuing to torture her, and the bottom 2 end up being Maya and Geneva lip-syncing to Janet Jackson's Control. This lip-sync wasn't the best. Even the flips for me couldn't save it. All eyes were on Maya the entire lip-sync as she's flipping and being really impressive. Geneva, of course, does a split. I think she's done a split on every episode she's been in. So Rue sends Geneva home. I don't mind this at all. I wasn't thrilled with anything she was bringing to the show and was kind of filling space for a lot of it. And the lip-syncs, it's always the same thing with the split. I actually think the producers were trying to send Geneva home when they put her against Mirage. And this was them pruning the Drag Race timeline, sending her out here. I know people had Geneva in their tops preseason to do really well, but I wasn't really that impressed with this run. And while I wouldn't be mad if she came on All Stars, I'm not left wanting to see more at all. I also watched Untucked. In Untucked, Sapphira gets back alone after using her potion and finally addresses the bath bombs being there and says, ooh, peach, but doesn't take one. and she feels like the other girls manipulated her into using her potion. Law joins them and is just captivating and does express that she's wanted to be a judge on this show for a while, but no drama in Untucked, it was boring. The main episode though was pretty good. I like a design challenge. I love that they had to make dolls. I would love it if they had to make dolls on every season. I also like a design challenge instead of unconventional materials because you really can't just glue a bunch of shit onto a corset. You really have to sew and make something nice, and some of them really did, but some of them really didn't. So that's all I had to say about this episode. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be back next weekend to talk about episode 7. Until then, have a nice week. Bye!